Sometimes you don't want to make a super fancy dropdown. Sometimes you just want to make the dropdown that's going to work for your prototype. So here are a couple options that you can do that are a little less time consuming than having a very dynamic dropdown in Figma. So if I hit space shift, I bring this up. This is the first option, which is just two components. One has a dropdown, one does not. And when you click on it, it changes the value of the select option to whatever value you decide. And then here is one that uses an overlay. And similar thing, when you click on the overlay, it'll change the option to whatever value that you want. So let's go build this out. I'm just going to copy this frame and make a new page. Drop down 3. So many drop downs. Okay, paste this in. And I'm just going to start these from scratch. So I'm going to delete all this stuff. Cool. So let's make dropdown number 1. First, I'm going to start with text. I'm going to say select. Let's see. We did animals. We did, let's do birds. Select bird. And with this selected, but not the text selected, I'm going to hit Shift A to make it auto layout. And then I'm going to give it some little bit of design. I'll just give it a fill of something light gray. And I'm going to give it a stroke. There we go. Of maybe something less dark. There we go. I'm going to bump up the padding on the outsides to maybe 16, not 160. And then, sure, that looks fine. I'm going to make this a little bigger, 22. Sure. Okay, and then I'll just give it a little bit of rounded corners, just a tad. There we go. So there's our drop down button. And before I make this a component, I'm going to actually build out the whole thing. So I'm going to option drag, and I'm going to actually just make this super easy. I'm going to select this frame. I'm going to click on the corners on all this 4 corner box, and I'm just going to get rid of the top 2. So that's going to be 0. That's going to be 0. And I'm going to change the text to regular. And I'm just going to make this be canary space. What's another bird? Penguin. That's a bird. Ostrich. One more bird. What's a bird? Toucan. I guess I'm toucan. Is that how you spell it? T-U, toucan? I think it's, toucan. That looks right. Okay, so we could add some line height. It's looking pretty good though for me. But we could make it a little, that's even smaller. Cool, so we'll do something like that. We will center this, and I'm going to tuck it under just one pixel so that it doesn't have this like weird extra thing happening. And I'm going to select both of these. They need to be in one frame together. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say create. Let's see, create component. I think it will just work. Yeah, it does. I don't need to make a whole frame. This one I want to call contents. This one I'm going to call select. And now that I have a component, I'm going to make a variant. So I'm going to click this little diamond with a plus. You can always also just right click and find it. And then this guy, let's see, what did I do last time? I made this like a height of 0. And I also made it invisible. I tried to just kind of make it a little smoother when it grows. Width, height. Why can I not find content? Visibility. Fill. No fill. No stroke. Okay, and then the text, what did I do? I don't remember. I think I just made it invisible. All right, good enough for now. And then this component is our expanded component. So now I'm going to string these together. So in Prototype, I'm going to add an interaction, and I'm going to say, when I click on this, I want it to change to the next component, which I realize I need to change the name to. So we'll say change to variant 2. Okay, and then while we're at it, let's just make this a better named component. So this is going to be drop down and bird. And the first property is going to be oops, sorry. I always do that. The name of the property is drop down. And the variants are going to be, instead of default, closed and open. Okay. Cool. So now we need to make a variable so that we can give it a different name. So I am going to click on the artboard so I can see this variables setting, and I'm going to go to variables, and I'm going to make a new one called, it's going to be a string, and I'm going to call it select bird, and the text is going to be the same exact text I have here because that's what I want as my default, select bird. Now I need to choose this text only, not the whole component, just the text inside. And I want to apply a variable. So this little icon will let you apply a variable. So this one is select bird, and that has actually just swapped out the text, though you wouldn't know it. And then same thing here. I want to make sure this is also select bird. Cool. And then I'm going to basically, now that these are wired together, I'm going to say, when you click on this, change the variable to one of these, whichever one I want. This is just for a prototype. So I get to choose which thing is going to be whatever. The text is going to change to this thing. Whew. English is really hard today. Okay, so I am going to set a variable on click, and that is going to change this drop-down animal to be the text of penguin, because penguins win. And then see, it says string literal. I can click on that, and that'll automatically give me some nice quotes so that it knows it's a string. And now I can say, when I click on this, to change, so I'm going to hit another plus, change to the state of closed. And I'll do a smart animate. Sure. And I just realized I didn't do any animate on this one, so I'm going to go to prototype, click open, smart animate. I'm wondering if this is going to get in the way. We'll find out soon enough. So now that I have this component wired up, I want to drag an instance of it. So I'm going to go to this, where are we? Drop down 3, drop down. There you go. Yeah, I wonder. Let's just write some text over it. Some text. We might have to adjust some layering here. But if I hit play and I click this, yeah, it should go underneath. See how it's like going on top of it? But there's our little drop down. You can kind of play with, I did this opacity thing. It drops down, but the text kind of, is a bit funky. As long as the layers are the same name, you can kind of like futz with it a little bit. All right, so let's close our preview. And then this guy, I want to go in the background. So I'm going to go to File. Here's my text. I want it to be underneath the drop down. Let's see if that helps. Cool. Yeah, so that's what I would expect. So I can toggle this on and off, but if I click on this part of it, it doesn't work. What's happening? Okay, let's look again. What did I do? select bird. When I click open it, change to open, smart animate. And when I click on this, set a variable of dropdown. Oh, I'm setting the wrong variable. Set, let's delete you. Change, set a variable of dropdown bird, select bird to, that was me, penguin. Click on it to make it a string. Cool, select bird, penguin. So yeah, it was basically changing something in another file. That's awesome. Let's try that again. Oh, what a day. There we go. Shift space, select bird. And I guess now anywhere I click should change it to penguin. Yeah, there you go. So refresh, select bird, click anywhere, it changes to penguin. So much faster than wiring everything up to be a variable. The other option is to do an overlay, kind of same concept. So I am going to, I'll just be fast and make a copy of this guy. This is no longer a component. That is great. So this is going to be, gosh, do we even need to make it a component? I'm not sure. I'm going to anyway. So this component is just going to have one state, and the name of it will be, does it have a property? Name of bird, reptile. We'll just say default because there's no other states. Create property. All right, and then this one, we're going to make another variable, so I'll show you how it swaps out the text. So I'm going to go to variables. I'm going to make a new variable. I'm going to call it it's a string, and this one's going to be select reptile. And the default value will be select reptile. Okay. Cool. So I'm going to set this variable here. It is set to select bird, so I'm going to break that. And I am going to click on variable, and I'm going to choose select reptile. And that changes the text. Looks like my auto layout's not working super great for me. Whoa, hold on. Back out. Can't see what I'm doing. Close you. We'll just add a little padding on the sides. What's up, auto layout? Okay, there we go. Select reptile. Now I'm going to just make a box, a rectangle. Well, actually, let's do it by the text. Click on text. Okay. What's a reptile? Iguana. I'll just say monitor. Lizard. Two Z's? I don't remember. Bearded dragon. Some sort of snake. What kind of snake? A cobra. Cool. Maybe I want these to be left aligned instead. I definitely don't want them to be bold. And yeah, it's definitely 1Z. And let's see. Auto. Let's do 48 to give it some space. Now I want it to have a little bit of background. Shift A to make it auto layout. Then we can give it a fill of something slightly gray. I should probably just choose the color I'm using here. And I'm going to give it should I give it a stroke? Sure. Why not? Of whatever we're using here. If I can get in that small. I can't. There we go. Cool. So there's our little drop down. Does it fit? Sure. Totally fits. All right. So I'm just going to call this lizard overlay. All right. And now I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to prototype, and I'm going to say interaction when I click on this, I want you to open an overlay, which is this one called Lizard Overlay. And I'm going to do, you can move it in, although you'd have to mask above where the button is. So maybe future video. So I'm just going to say dissolve. And sure, I'll just do the default. Close when clicking is always kind of handy. We don't need a background because that would basically allow us to kind of gray out the rest of the screen. We don't really need that since this is supposed to be a drop down, but I want to add a second one that says, actually, I want it to be wired to this guy. So I'm going to click on the overlay and I'm going to say, when I click on the overlay, I want to first close the overlay, but then I also want to set the variable of select reptile to be, what's it going to be? Bearded dragon. Dragon. I'm going to, oops, it like automatically dragon. Dragon. Bearded dragon. There we go. Click on bearded dragon. And now it's going to close it and it's going to change the text. I kind of think I want to change the text first and then close it because I think it'll be a little snappier. All right, so now that that's built out, we also want to drag one of those over here. So I'm going to go to assets. Here is our select reptile. I'm going to add an instance of it right here. And one more thing I forgot is that I want to manually place the overlay. So I'm going to click on this overlay centered. Instead of centered, I want to manually position it and then it'll show me where. And I'm just going to drag it right here. I wonder if I can do tiny. Yeah, I did a tiny thing hoping that it would get rid of that the border. Cool. Now let's see if I did that right. Profile, select bird or reptile. And then if I click anywhere in here, it'll say bearded dragon and it will close. It will always stay that way. You could go and be fancier, but this is like the quickest, dirtiest prototype. Make some drop downs happen. All right. I hope that was helpful and that saves you some time trying to make a bunch of variables that maybe for the project you're working on, you just don't need. All right. Thank you very much.